All right, people, how's it going? My first live session. I'm trying to see if my camera is turned on, which I don't think it. I see someone's already in the session. If you can see me on camera, if you can tell me that in the chat. If you can't, tell me that too. That way I can get that fixed. I'm gonna try and get this figured out. I probably should have done all this before starting, but hey, it is what it is, right? OBS. URL stream and key are missing open section. Services. YouTube. Connect account recommended use stream. Okay, let's see if that works. I'm not sure if that's working or if it isn't, but I'll find out.
Introducing Astapro Allergy.
Okay, it's showing my screen, which I don't get why it's doing that. All right, if anyone's here, if you can see me on camera, please give me a heads up. If you can't, tell me that too. Oh, never mind. Or if anyone's in the session, if you can see me on camera, please tell me. I think I'm looking on my phone. Okay, so I kind of got it working. All right, so I'm basically here to answer, which is it's all good. Hey, how you doing? So, if you guys have any questions, you can start typing them in the chat. The worked out. All right, so do you guys have any questions? If you don't, I'm just going to start going through the most commonly questions I've been asked in the past couple weeks. All right, so I'm just going to go through the most commonly asked questions that come up. All right, so we're looking right down here at these questions. As I'm going through these, if you have anything, just go ahead and start it. I was asked, fine. Well, you and everyone else, and I had the same question. Uh, when I was applying, I got it done within 20 HR. First SF86 I've ever done, and it had lots and lots of errors. So, as you get closer and closer to that deadline, make sure that you're communicating with HR, and that way they know what's going on, and just tell them, hey, there's plenty of errors. We're going back and forth. Can you guys please bear with me? Also, contact your. Are you wanting to hire someone so they aren't that willing to let someone go on a minor technicality such as that? I passed my medical like a month ago. How long does it take to pass my background? Okay, did you join the military at any time? Or do you have a military background? If so, if you join the military, you've done lots and lots of traveling. You've also done a lot of things that you probably can't talk about, from combat missions, things like that. So it can take some time depending on how much the investigator has to go through. However, if you've only if you have that kind of background 26 at the time, and they were only going back to age 18, it went by within 60 days. And that's if you have a clean background. You don't have any bankruptcy debt that's in the you don't have a lot of people to contact. For example, if those of you that have those of you that have ex-husbands and ex-wives, the investigator is going to go talk to these people. So it all depends on how long it takes to contact references, your contacts, verifying your employers, and then you'll get cleared. So 60 to 120 days, depending on what you have going on. If you don't have anything going on, about 60. If you have a lot of things going on, it can take quite a bit, but it just depends. Does that answer your question? And it also depends on how backlogged they are. So, just to give you an idea, I had to do a reinvestigation in 2018, and I had the investigator interview November of 2018. I didn't get the final blessing off on the security clearance until um until June or July of 2021 or 2020. It took almost 2 years, and that's because they are super backlogged, and COVID didn't help either. It basically shut everything down until operations were rearranged, and then they got started back up again. So when it comes to your background check, no news is always good news. However, just to give you guys a heads up, if the investigator contacts you and asks you a question, chances are don't lie. If you do, they've already got the drop on you. All right. Do you guys have anything else? Okay, cool. I'm gonna go down to how long until I get hired. The answer is that depends, and that depends on one or a couple of big things. One, how you're applying to LAX, JFK, ATL, or Miami, or some big airport. You can get hired pretty quickly, almost within a month of hitting the ready pool. It also depends on how quickly that airport is trying to hire people. So it depends on how short-handed they are and how quickly they can go through their hiring certificates. If you're applying to Denver, or if you're applying to probably Oklahoma, Will Rogers World Airport, that'll probably take anywhere between what depends airports, Lincoln, Nebraska, or Melbourne Airport in Florida. It's about a half an hour from Orlando. It can take a bit longer to get hired because those are as high because airports don't have as much going on. So they'll have a lot more time to just hang out, and they aren't as stressed. When I worked at Atlanta Airport, on a busy day, which was every day, we processed about close to 5,000 people an hour, and that's on an okay day. When it was really busy and we 300s or the Airbus A380s and all that coming on, not A380s, those weren't around back then, but the bigger jets. And they all came at the same time, like and Qatar. We had close to 20,000, and we were processing 20,000 in about an hour, and it got hectic. You're basically sweating through your uniforms, and you're just processing as many people as possible as fast as you can. All right, so it all depends on how that airport has. A lot of airports are very short staffed. I have a few friends at Atlanta Airport who are supervisors, and they're telling me that even though they have people transferring in from other airports, they're still it just all right. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right, sorry guys, I'm coughing. I'm just getting over COVID, like a lot of other people. It's probably like the popular, but yeah. The next question I get asked pretty often is how long till promotion to E band? That's Echo band. Okay, so when you first get hired, you get hired at D band, Delta band, and in the federal government, you're you are eligible for promotion every 52 weeks. There's a caveat to time employee 2 week time frame. Okay, let me kind of qualify that. If you're a part-time employee, if you're looking for the automatic conversion from D to E band, that 52-week time period doubles because you're only there part of the time. However, if you are applying for a promotion, then 52 is very confusing. I don't understand why they do it that way, but they do. And to be honest with you, I was expecting a promotion from D to E band while I was there. And I was there 22 months, 3 weeks, and 6 days. And I didn't get a conversion at all. So, from my past experience, I can tell you if it's going, not all 52 weeks is equal. If you're there part time, 52 weeks is going to double to 104 weeks because you're only there part time. But if you're a full time employee, then 52 weeks is 52 weeks for automatic promotions. If you're looking for a promotion that you actually have to apply to, in that case, 52 weeks is 52 weeks. Does that answer your question? Or I'm sure someone will probably ask about that later on, but that's the answer. I'm trying to find my water. The versus part-time. I get a lot of questions about what are the benefits between full-time and part-time. The answer is the benefits don't change. The only benefit that you the hours. You go from working 25 hours to 40 hours a week, and you start picking up additional holiday pay and all that other stuff. TSA does have this weird rule, requirement, policy, or whatever. I'm not sure if it's still around, but if anyone is still, or if anyone is currently at the TSA, you can go ahead and correct me. On holiday pay, you have to work on the holiday, the day before the holiday, and the day after the holiday. It's confusing. It's not supposed to be that way. I don't get why they do it that way. I didn't plan on staying there, so I didn't really bother finding out. Other than that, their medical vision part, the tech was new and didn't know how to transcribe the vision results. Will the TSO, uh, will the TSO, okay, you mean TSA, take my, so you will go ahead and you will be rejected because of vision disqualification. You get an appeal packet. You go to your doctor, have them complete that. You send the appeal packet back in. How long does it take? I've seen it take anywhere between 2 weeks to almost 90 days. Once again, it all depends on how backlogged that office is. And though contract facilities, they have to go over that paperwork. This whole thing about the contract facilities is pretty brand new. When I applied in 2011, the airport when I was being hired, the airport assessment, the entire thing, start to finish, including your medical exam, was all done in person on the same day. So I got an invite to go to the airport assessment. I interviewed the same day. I did the medical checks. I did the color vision test, and I did the fingerprinting all within 8 hours. Because of COVID, all that changed. Your interview is done medical checks are done at a contract. Your medical checks are done at a contract facility. Now, these are going to facilities that they can get their hands on. And from a lot of the comments I've gotten from people, they've either said that the tech wasn't qualified or the tech didn't care, or the tech just wanted to go through the process as fast as possible. So, I mean, that's what happens when you hire in mass like that, and you tend to just go with the contract facility. Uh, these people aren't really paid to care. You're just another number, and you're being processed. And if you get denied, you can appeal. If it's something minor, it gets overturned. If it's something that's major and it could cause a health, it could cause a hazard to your health on the job, it probably won't get over. Boris, does that answer the question? All right, I'm sure you'll probably type an answer. It's okay. I'm just gonna keep. Get asked, how do you get converted from part time to full time? Hang on. Thank you. He wasn't paid to care or trained. I knew something was wrong when he didn't know how to take my pulse and kept hesitating. Federal, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the entire government isn't that way. I was in the hiring process for CBP, and I went to a contract medical facility, and the thing is, they were actually good at their job. It was an actual doctor's office that was contracted. Actual doctor came in and signed off on the paperwork. So sadly, this is just the TSA, and once again, it's just the game that you play. But the thing is, you only have to do it once. You're good to go. So I'm not trying to talk bad about the TSA. I mean, every agency has its own problems and issues. Only thing is, you hear about the TSAs more often because people just talk about it all the time. Just play the game, complete the. You'll be okay. All right. Do you have anything else? Okay, I'm gonna go to depend on two things: seniority and availability. I did do a video on this. So when I was at an airport, they were doing part-time to full-time conversions, and they converted about, I think, close to 1,500 people, and I was just barely at off on. I was already gone to other jobs, so I would have gotten the things I didn't care to stick around. So it's based on availability and your seniority. However, you also have to have a clean record. You can't have bad evaluation scores. You actually have to be competent at your job if you want to be converted to full time. So yes, the TSA does have a standard, and they do try to stick to that standard as best as possible. People in the training office are actually very good at what they do, and they care about their jobs. So if you're a bad employee, guess what? You don't get converted. I guess I totally understand it's TSA was a tech, and I need to let their office know who's not qualified to do assessments out of 2020. I need to be way less than that. Yeah, I mean it happens, but good thing once assessment. I've already covered that, so I'm going to go on to getting hired by the TSA will solve all my problems. Okay, I thought the same start climbing the ladder quickly. Not true. Your uphill battle just here's what I'm talking about. You have to understand the thorough hiring process. You have to understand how to write resumes, how to do interviews, and how selections are made. So you have to play the game, and you have to figure the game out. How do you do that? You have to apply for jobs. You have to apply for jobs over and over. Refer for an interview. TSA. And those interviews and offers didn't start coming in until I actually took the time to learn the federal hiring process. So that's what I'm doing here with you guys is I'm trying to teach you the process, going through and learning about all this. Patience, it took a lot of frustration, it took a lot of tears. There were plenty of times driving to work, I was crying and I was miserable. I'm like, why am I? Because I can take the knowledge I gained. So, yes, it's an uphill battle, but yes, it's doable. I'm just one example of people that were able to climb the ladder and go do something else. So, what do I mean that your problems just started? Number one, don't go around the entire checkpoint telling everyone what your plans are. Don't tell them how much education or experience you have. There are people that will support you, and they will try to people that won't do that. I'm not saying don't trust people. All I'm saying is use your best judgment when you talk to people. You have to understand the type of experience that you have and how to leverage that experience. And in order and go through all the duties that you performed at each job. And you have to write down the steps involved in every single duty. You it pays off. You don't understand the experience that you have, and you don't understand how to leverage that experience until you actually take the time to figure out what experience you have and how you. Once you do that, you go to USA Jobs and you start typing and you start typing in key um, keywords like analyze and evaluate, analyze information, just to see what jobs pop up. And then I started going through each and every one of those jobs. And I started reading the requirements for each and every one of those jobs you have to have. Into my resume and my job skills, I started to find out, okay, when have I done these skills? Or when have I done something even remotely close to these skills? And then I started to build a resume based on those skills and those keywords. Those keywords come from the job posting. I did a video, watch that video, and then start going through your own resume and experience, try to find out what type of experience that you have. Now, once you do that, comes the fun part. You start applying for jobs that you think you qualify for. This is going to be a game of trial and error. You are going to apply for every single job that you can, and you are going to tailor your resume to every single job. And then sit and hope and pray to whomever you pray to that your efforts pay off. You can't just apply to 1, 2, or 3 jobs. I was applying to almost 10 jobs every week, sometimes 10 jobs a day, just depending on if I was off or how much time I had. And as I was applying to these jobs, I started to get referred for interviews. I would go back, find that resume, compare it to the job I applied to, and I started to figure out, okay, here's what isn't. Whatever was working, I kept doing it. Whatever didn't work, I didn't think about it ever again. And when I started getting interview offers, I started finding out I can't apply to jobs that have just 1 or 2 openings. I'm going to get beaten out on the veterans preference, especially if I'm applying for a job in veteran heavy. So I started to apply for jobs that had at least 10 or more openings, or if the number of vacancies said, and then at that point it was started getting job offers. Here's a good thing. When it rains, it pours. When you start getting job offers, you start getting job offers. You start getting them left and right to a point where you saying, hey, so that's what I'm talking about, uphill battle. One thing that you should do, and I was doing this shamelessly, I was talking to other passengers and I was asking them, hey, what do you do? What my background was? And a lot of them asked me, well, what are you doing? Well, so you can also use your own passengers for contacts. You will start to find out that a lot of people at the TSA are are highly intelligent people. A lot of these guys are a lot of the people passed the bar, they took off and found other jobs. So TSA is kind of a breeding ground for a lot of different people to come together, but at the same time, don't get stuck. Okay, what do I mean when I say don't get stuck? Before you apply to the job, if you're getting hired, you're going to get caught up in the whole what do I do? How do I do it? I don't understand any of this. So when you get hired, or here's what I did. When I got hired, I told myself I'm going to stay here 2 years. 2 years because that was the probation time. Anything past 2 years or as I start getting closer to that 2 year mark, I'm gone. And that's exactly what I did. As I got hired, I started applying for other jobs that I even remotely qualified for. I was even entertaining going to pilot school. I was I was interviewing for jobs with Pepsi. I was interviewing for other jobs in corporate at the same time. I got the final interview for Pepsi. On the same day, I got a tentative job offer with immigration. I accepted the final interview and the tentative job offer. And at the end, I didn't get Pepsi, but I got immigration, and I got it right at my cutoff deadline. So you're probably asking, what would you do? Student loan applications to go to pilot school, become a pilot, and go do something else. So have a plan before you go in, and then have a plan to get out. Now, if you plan on staying there, to stay there. They either have houses, family, wife, kids, and all that, or spouse, kids, and all that, and they can't move around. That's perfectly okay. Other people who are in their early 20s or just graduated college, they'll come, they will stay about a year and a half, 2 years, and they're. So, does anyone else have any other questions? Because I'm basically just talking at this point. Okay, I do get questions about should I take a part-time job? Okay, the answer is that depends, and that depends on you. But stand. If you're a if you're like me, I was young, about 25, about 24, 25 years old. I was living in my parents' house, and only expense I had was gas, student loan, and just eating out. If you have one, just to support yourself, so ask yourself: these are the expenses I have. Here's the income from a part-time job. Is this going to be a good idea? And if the answer is yes, cool. If the answer is no, but you still want the job, you have to figure something out. All right. I see there's one person in the chat. If you're getting value from the things I'm talking about, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It's a easy way to support the channel. And if you're getting value from this, please tell me in the comments below. That way I can keep doing these sessions. what I'm probably going to start doing is answering people's frequently asked questions in these Ask Me Anythings. Unless anyone else has any person in session, do you have anything that you want to ask, want me to talk about? Do you have a college degree in criminal justice or anything start out of this info? Degree in, if you're asking what that is, it's basically psychology, sociology, and world history put into a blender and someone who, in other words, had degree without a graduate degree. And normally it wouldn't be a problem if I graduated college in a strong economy. I graduated college in 2009. The economy went belly up because the housing market completely collapsed. People's 401ks went out the window. Quite a few of my classmates had job offers, and then those job offers got rescinded. So if I graduated, I would have found a bad economy. I was pretty much pigeonholed into doing whatever job I could find. So, did having a college degree help me get the? No, sense that I was able to substitute education in lieu of experience because that's how the job posting was written. So, because I had a degree, I was able to get the job. If I didn't have a degree, I would have to have experience. And at that time, I didn't have that kind of experience. When I was hired by immigration, the agency came out with paying people to go to college. They were basically paying your college tuition if you decide to study something in the them to pay for half of it. So I only did it because someone else was paying for me to go. If they didn't pay, I probably wouldn't have gone. Um, the current job that I have as a refugee officer, um, yeah, the current job that I have as a refugee officer, get this job because the competition is very stiff. It's a highly coveted job and a lot of information in a short amount of time, and you have to be able to apply that information readily. And it's a very law application heavy job. Agree, but they teach you how to do all that. A lot of the people I work with do have a law degree. Um, one of one of the supervisors, a few other people, they've also done other types of international work with the UN, IOM, um, IRC, other nonprofits, and they've also been in private practice. Though I had to I applied. I got hired. So am I? No, the standards were just as high. They were just able to diversify their applicant pool and the workforce, and they were able to bring in other. Wasn't grad get hired because a part of the hiring process, I had to show them a writing sample. either from grad school or something from work. So at the time, I had only grad school, right? Bro, you have 3 live streams open with different viewers and questions in each. Oh, that is annoying. I don't have any idea how to shut those down. Yeah, I'm trying to this. It would be a huge help if you could kind of drag those people in here, because I don't have any idea how to get to those. Honestly, I don't. Let me see. Live chat. There you go. If you could please give them that and have them come into this one, and then next time I'll figure out how to only get it down to one live stream. Okay. Anyone else in this live stream? Questions? I don't know what that does. Okay. Let's pop out chat. I'll stick around a bit. Let's see. If you just came in, if you could please tell me in the let people know to come to the earliest live. Okay. Once again, I do that. I didn't. I thought it would be easy to and all that, but apparently it and YouTube didn't make anything any easier. But if you are in this live chat, just tell me in the comments and start typing them in. Live chat's going on. Or yeah, I have to figure out what else I got going on. Let's see here. Let me search mine. Three watching, one watching, two watching. Okay. Okay. It's not that one. Let's do this one. Okay, join the earliest live session. Okay, I found someone in one there. And let me see if there's anyone in here. There's someone that asked, wow, there's a lot of people. I wasn't expecting that. Do you get your health plan does have a dental rider on it? What it means is you get health care and 2 free teeth cleanings a year. However, you want to get a separate dental plan. If you're curious about which dental plan you should get, send me an email after you get hired, and I'll tell you which one. I can't publicly endorse one over the other because I'd be doing because I just can't do that. Military time and service. Okay, so for those of you that join the military, so you can buy back your military time. In other words, if you spend and you there's a whole calculation that goes into it. I don't understand what the calculation is, but hang on. I'm just trying to see how I can get other people into the other uh from the other live chats. Three, one. Live chat. And I don't have any idea how I got this the copy link address. Again, hopefully that should work. Okay, so pretend you served for years. Your start date is your federal government hiring start date is today, and you want to buy back all that time. When you buy it back, your start date is 10 years, 10 years, and that time does count. So you can retire 10 years earlier than everyone else. How do you buy your time back? It's best if you do it on the day that you're hired during your HR orientation. I was in officer candidate school. I got a job offer. I took off. So I didn't have any of the buyback stuff going on at all. Let me see what other people have asked. You're in here. Give me a heads up. Okay. Not sure who else is in here. Let me try to look at the other chats again. I promise it'll. Hoping it would work out. Okay. All right. So everyone else. Okay. So I'm streaming to 3 different places. I just can't see all the chats. Okay, that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and open up all the others. There's okay. So I think this one has all the people in it. All right. So once again, that depends on your background and what you have going on in the background. All right. So being close to 100, 120 days, 4 months. It took almost 180 days, and that's because one of the Painesville they went to in Georgia. I call it pretend nursing school because at that time I was just desperate for a job and training, and I went there thinking I would become a nursing assistant, and I didn't because I went to the practicals. I'm like, yo, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. I had an what the lady called it, and I called her a few months before getting hired, asking her for a letter explaining everything. And she didn't drag her feet on it and then blame the letter. Talk about doing your job right the first time, right? Anyways, the investigator basically had all that information and was holding on to it, trying to see if anything. And then at the 120 day mark is when I got an email from the investigator saying, "Hey, you have all these outstanding debts," and I had to go and explain in almost 2 pages as to why those debts are there. So I went and I paid off the $12 debt that I had, and then other um, uh, 2 months later, I got my security clearance. What happens during a security clearance process? They go and talk to everybody that you put on. My parents, college professors, they talk to my friends, my neighbors, and just ask them all kinds of things. So ideally, background, if you changed house, if you lived in different places, had a whole bunch of different jobs, it just drags out the process that much longer. Have a police, you have misdemeanors, things like that. That can also drag out the process. Or if you have friends who are practical jokers and they think everything's funny and they think that playing with your is the investigator takes everything seriously and they take it at face value. They don't play around. Some of these people don't have a sense of humor at all. So, with that said, when you put down references on your background check, put down people who aren't practical jokers, who don't think everything's a joke or try to mess around with you just because they think it's cool and fun. Put down responsible people. Also, if you if you're friends with questionable people, meaning people that you don't want other people knowing, because those will be the people that drag you down, and you don't want questions being asked about, hey, why are you friends with this person? And how long have you known this person? But hey, this person's been to prison. Why are you still friends with them? I had a friend from high school who was in prison for I forgot why he got sent. But anyways, when I found out, I cut him off. I stopped talking to him. He reached out to me on Facebook one day, and I told him, "Hey, I work for the government. No problem." Went away. Haven't talked to him since then. Does that answer any of your questions? Okay. I was disqualified because I had as a relative provide me section 8. Okay. What did the investigator tell you about that? And okay. Because for certain jobs and certain types of security clearances, you can't be affiliated with certain types of people. So I think there's something else that's going on there as to why you were denied a security clearance. I'm not the world's greatest expert on it, but I can tell you just the basics. It isn't something fantastic or something high at all. It's just like a simple security clearance. If U.S. or why is that? That's just how the rules are written. The U.S. government can't tell you who you can or can't. You marry this person, it could cause problems with your job. That's pretty much it. But file a why you qualified. Let me here. Let me here. Okay. One person just became a ramp agent for cargo, and they received a badge. Want to apply for TSA? Well, I have to pass another. You do because it's two separate background checks. The airport background check. That's because the airport background check doesn't have access to federal information, and it's a complete different application. When you apply for a federal job, you will do your background check. That's just how it is because local, county, and state background checks are for the type of jobs that you're applying for and the type of security clearance that you're getting. They have to go into your background and try to see if there's anything there. Local, state, and county, they don't go that deep sometimes, depending on what your job is. Just because if you're becoming a police officer, chances are they do go pretty deep in your background. I have friends who are police officers, and their local police department found information on them from different states. So, does that and pass the whiskey? Okay, not sure what that is, but okay. Okay. Someone asked, "What about hours of operation? Uh, different shift times. Oh, and are there advancement opportunities?" I'm gonna grab some water. Give me a second. I'll be right. Okay. Okay. Where to go? All right. Hours of operations and different shift times and advancement opportunities. Okay. Hours of operation based on airline schedules. So, if there aren't any flights during a certain time, TSA won't have any schedules available during that. So, airlines have to time. Hey, here's our here's what we've got going on. You have to have people here during these times. So the busy times are usually business travelers. Um, Friday Friday evenings between if you're on the East Coast, between people are or Vegas or the West Coast. So schedules are dictated based on what the airline tells TSA that they need people available for. It is a 24-hour. So there are people there overnight. However, the people that are there overnight, they don't always do too much. They just kind of hang out. It's a very chill schedule. The best schedules to get, I would say, are between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. And that's because you're just kind of standing guard and you're not doing anything during that time. But anything between work because that's when all the flights are going in and out. Depending on the airport that you're at, between uh, between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. there's international flights coming in. Houston, I think Dallas. A lot of people have to transfer through TSA again because once you touch your check bags, you're no longer a screen. During those times, there's also people coming in off of international flights. Those are busy hours. Okay, advancement opportunity. Interesting because a lot of people at the TSA tend to go and stay. A lot of people have spouses, kids, houses, families. They can't move. You are going to be fighting and clawing for every single promotion you try to get. So if you have other skills, if you have other education, start trying to find jobs in other agencies. 15s in the government. Another reason why advancement opportunities at immigration is so high is because we have our own funding. We are a multi-billion-dollar government agency because people are paying application fees. And when you have people you want to hire, how many people you want to promote, how many offices you want to open, what type of work you want to take on, because it doesn't really get dictated to you, it gets dictated by you. Of immigration and homeless. So advancement opportunities are available. It's very hard at TSA. However, at TSA, I have seen people jump pay grades. They were hired as a D band, and then over the course of about a year, they became an I band checkpoint duty manager. How did that happen? the job posting was probably a public posting, and that they were able military to show that they qualified for that higher pay grade. So you can jump pay grades, but you have to have the resume and experience to back that up. Does that answer your question? So what else do I have? Your quick questions. So I have a job offer from Spectrum Charter. Is being a federal employee better than not working for the federal government? Okay. Where I will tell you it just depends on what your goals are. If you are a capitalist and you want to be super rich one day, don't work for the government. Go to corporate. If you're the type of I would work for the government because in 2020 and 2021, when people were losing jobs, I was doing just fine. Because I'd be called back and I'd probably be given all kinds of back pay. So if you want a stable, reliable job, come to the government. If you want to constantly hop jobs and you want higher pay, go to corporate. With that said, if you're the kind of person that doesn't enjoy being told what to do, you don't enjoy having to a certain time, you don't like being told when you can go on vacation or you can call out sick, being a W-2 employee is probably not going to work out for you. You're better off going out starting your own company. I can tell that being a W-2 employee is not going to work out for them. With that said, when you apply for a job, you are asking to get on someone else's signing. You don't agree with their game plan, you still have to do it. If that's not something you want to do, go off on your own and start your own business. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm not trying to belittle you. I'm being honest with you. I've spoken to exactly what they did. And that's because for them, that was the best option. And they're a lot happier because of that. Does that answer your question? Varying shades of gray based on whatever your long-term goals are. Okay, I applied to through pretty quickly. Okay, that's a good thing, and that's simply because they're probably bleeding for people and they're short-handed. So the faster you get hired, the better it is for getting income and start getting want to jump, or you can hang out. It's up to you. Uh, Working at the TSA, honestly, it really isn't that bad of a job. I had a lot of fun for 2 years. I might as well enjoy my time while I'm there. And I had a whole fan club. I had people who would come to my line at the checkpoint just because they enjoyed interacting with me over other people. And that's because they just enjoyed being around me. I'm not saying I'm better than other people. All I'm saying is I can take a bad situation and find the good in that. All right. Okay. No good news. I'll be honest with you, talking to investigators is not something I ever enjoyed doing. Give them the paperwork. All I want them to do is verify the information and sign off on it. I don't want to talk to them ever again. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm just saying it's a very they can do it all they want. It just isn't an enjoyable process. But once again, like I told you, when you get on someone else's payroll, you just let me. Is there anything? Okay. Fine. Thank you for the know what they sent after. Yeah, go ahead. I'll go ahead and look at it for you, and I'll tell you what their thinking and thought process was. Credit effect TSA background. I have a clean criminal record. Yes, your background check. That's one thing. A lot of people have bad credit. If you're fresh out of college, you probably barely have any credit because you didn't have bills. You were staying on campus. Delinquencies in collections. What a federal investigation is trying to find out with your finances is your expenses on your current income and still survive. If the answer is yes, then okay, you're good to go. I can tell you about. So things that affect credit. If you open and close lots of credit cards, kind of like all the time, because cards and so when you keep closing, like they look at how old your account is, and if you have an old account and you decreases, which can drop your credit score. If you have payments or outstanding debt, for example, if you have student loans, car, mortgage, some of the longest accounts. Once it's paid off, your credit score is going to dip a little bit and it's going to go back up again because the age of your accounts has sit office in Virginia. She has a law degree from Georgetown. I work with a lot of people that have law degrees, and these people brag about their credit scores. I have an 820 credit score. Lots of give these people lots of money because they will faithfully pay you interest. So don't a lot of interest. People who pay lots of interest have high credit scores, have lots of debt. I think I've beat that horse to death. So don't worry about your credit too much in delinquency. You don't want to have gambling debts. If you gamble a lot and you have gambling debts you can't pay off, number one, Vegas, because that's probably not a place that you want to go to. And two, does the TSA hire people with expunged? That my Army lieutenant told me. There isn't any such thing as expunged when it comes to a federal background check. You have to disclose everything. If you don't, it's going to cause you problems. And the investigators going to start to ask, hey, how come you didn't disclose this? And then you've got to explain yourself. You tell them, oh, it's expunged. The investigator is going to tell you, go get that information. So why is it that expunged records aren't immune from a federal background investigation. National security. It's a catch all term. If you are going to be entrusted with a position, whatever, you can't have anything in your background that can be compromising. So, if you have an expunged, don't disclose it, and you somehow get away with it, and some other country terrorist group finds out, they can come to you and say, I have this information on you. Either you start working for us or we tell your government about it. What do you want to do? Protect the people in the country. They don't want those liabilities. That's why expunged records don't exist. In the words of my Army lieutenant, expunged records simply means the attorney got more money out of you. But if you are applying for expunged records, you have to disclose it. Okay. The common for a background investigator to not contact you. I never heard from my BI, and was I applied, that wasn't common. Everyone had to go to an investigator, but today I think it is commonplace because you're the and have an interview with an investigator, you were just given the job. So that is only for a security clearance. That's what every TSO gets, Transportation Security Officer. Those are the people in the blue shirts on the offer. You have a basic public trust security clearance, so you can be cleared through security without ever someone contacting you. If you're being contacted, then that means that there's something going on in your background that has to be cleared up, and they have to. If you have a job that's higher than public, you're going to have an interview with an investigator simply because they're just going to ask all kinds of questions about all kinds of things in your background. And the higher up that you go in for top secret CI, that's one of the highest you can get. And what that's saying is you have access to a very small amount of information, but it goes into a lot of detail. Those people are working for the FBI, CIA, NSA, and they're outside your house and they will watch the people going in and out of your house. So if you want to open yourself up to that type of scrutiny, go ahead. Or that's the type of security clearance that you'd get for that level, if that makes sense. I kind of wandered off, but yeah, you guys get the point. And here, one, I'm not sure if there's anyone there. Let's see, 4-1. I don't think this one has anybody in it. Okay, I'm just going to close that one out. Does anyone else have any other questions that they want to ask? All right. I've been here almost 2 hours. I think I've gotten most of your questions. Oh, there's one here. I had a felony 10 years ago and I cleared my justice record. I applied for armed security guard US Embassy. That is part of a recruiting process. You think I get rejected after I cleared everything a long time ago? I don't have that answer. That is going to be between you and State Department security and whatever they want. Jobs with State Department and overseas security. I don't know very much about that. I won't try to guess. I don't want to give you a bad answer, but it's a wait and see. I can give you a more overseas foreign applying for a job at the U.S. Embassy. It's a whole different ball game, and I don't. I. Okay. Does anyone else have here? Nothing here. Nothing there. Nothing. So, tell me in the comments if you want me to more often do this every Saturday around the same time. Unless I'm traveling and I'm on the road, then time zones become a problem. So, and you can also send me ahead. Yes, I do have a video coming up. I just have to record it. I caught COVID and made things very difficult when I was overseas. I was trying to record the video, but jet lag also took over, and if you have DBTs coming up, I'm doing a video on how to read an X-ray, so you can all start passing your DBT portion. Not the DBT. You can start passing the X of your DBT. The bare basics of the things I did when I took the DBT. Teach you the. I mean, I just can't talk about. As you can tell, I'm still getting over COVID. As soon as I stop coughing, I'll get the video done and out to all of you. Until then, thank you. Peace out. All right. How do I?